How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be working on a hydraulic cylinder again. I actually did one hydraulic cylinder a while back. I rebuilt a hydraulic cylinder, and I had a lot of good comments, but also had a lot of bad comments. And it doesn't matter to me about the bad comments because I really don't care. They tell me to leave this up to the professionals to do this kind of job. And if you got the money to pay a professional, then you just go right ahead and pay a professional. It's not a big deal. That's fine with me. I'm just showing you how the regular guy could set and rebuild a hydraulic cylinder without paying a big bunch of money. And that's what YouTube's for. It's used to help people save money, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit more about the hydraulic cylinder today, on how I get it apart and rebuilding it. So let's get to it. Okay, in my last video I showed you guys that I actually made this tool here, and it's been a good tool, and it's worked on every cylinder that I've rebuilt since I've done the video. And I've actually done quite a few of these cylinders and haven't had a problem with it yet. So that's one tool, and you can buy this, and I'm sure if you look in the comments you can find the name of what this tool is, and I'm sure 1,000 people told me what this tool is called. I just don't remember. If I can get it, I'll put it up on the screen for you so you'll know what to look for. Now, this is another tool used to help you rebuild these cylinders, and I'll show you what this is used for. And I'm going to leave a link in the description down below to Amazon where you can pick up a set of these, and there's a set of 3, but the only one we'll be using in this build will be this small set right here. And then the kit. I had a lot of questions about the kit, okay, or how do you get the rebuilt kit for your cylinder. Now, this is a Leeboy machine, and as you can see, it's a universal seal kit. This is what they send us. Now, you call the company that the machine, whoever built your machine, call the company and tell them which cylinder it is and what you want to do to the cylinder, rebuild it, whatever. And they're going to send you out a kit, and they're around $50-some, $50 or whatever for a kit. This is a universal kit here, and this will do, I think, every single hydraulic cylinder on that machine. This will rebuild at least one of them. So that is the kit that they sent me out. And then all you need is your hydraulic cylinder that you're going to rebuild. And we're going to go step by step and show you how it's done. Alright, for this video, I basically already cleaned this cylinder up pretty good, and I have everything broken loose. But I'm going to show you if you have problems, like this piece here. If you have problems, break your bolt loose, which I've already done. Then take a hammer, a small hammer, and you should be able to tap that to break it loose in there. Or you can take a huge screwdriver or a chisel with a screwdriver type tip and put it right in that crack right there and give it a couple taps, and it's going to loosen this guy up so you can turn it with your hand. So that's how I basically got that off. I just put a screwdriver in there, tapped it a few times, it loosened it up, and we get it spin off. So we're going to go ahead and take this off. And don't forget, you have to unloosen this bolt when you start. And I like to, when I put this back together, you can see the threads where it was painted. That's about where I want it to go back down and tighten it back down on there. Now, for this piece here, let's say you don't have a tool. You don't have a tool like this to get it off. What you could do is you could take a piece of dowel and find your hole, stick a piece of dowel in there, and then you can take your hammer and you can just tap on the dowel and break it loose. That's if you don't have the tool like this to take that off. So just find you a piece of dowel and stick it in there, and some taps on it will break it loose. But if you got one of these wrenches or want to make one, they're pretty easy to make. It's only a little piece of dowel like I just had there and a piece of steel. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing tore apart here. Okay, now we got that loose. Basically just got to pull these off. This is one piece. It's actually, that's one piece. We're going to put all new seals in this. So I'm going to set this down on my little table over here, and then we're going to put new seals in this guy here. All new seals in this too. Now what you want to do after you pull that out of there, you want to look down in here and feel and see if you have any big scarring. If you have any scarring in there, now you might need to take it to a machine shop. If there's scarring inside that cylinder, real deep scars or anything, you might have to take it to a machine shop, but this one seems to be okay inside. Okay, now that we got everything off that we want to change all the seals to, the easiest way I found to get this nut off is to use an impact wrench. We're just going to take it and see if we can get it off with the impact. Okay, so now we just got to pull this off because there's actually an O-ring down in behind here. So we're going to pull this guy off. You can see, let's see here. Here's your O-ring right here, right there. So now that we got everything off that we're going to need to put our seals in, what we're going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one seal at a time, and I'm going to go in this bag. I'm going to lay them out over here off to the side, and I'm going to pick the seal that I think looks like it matches what we're rebuilding here, because this seal kit is not for just this machine or this cylinder. This is for other cylinders. So this little O-ring there is going to be that O-ring there. So we're just going to roll that one off, and I'm going to put the bad O-rings to my right over here, and I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and then we're going to put our new O-ring on here. Okay, now that we got that seal on there, what we're going to do is we're going to take there's three pieces to this seal here, so we're going to take these three pieces out. One, that's on one side. I'm going to get the other one out of here. These are almost like like I said, your rings in your motorcycle motor, whatever. And we got one down in here, a little bit tougher. Now they say you don't really want to use a sharp pick on these, but you just want to be careful. These seals are no good now, but just be careful taking them out. You don't stab yourself, because they can be pretty tight in there. Okay, so there's my other seal right there. Hopefully you guys can see them good. Now we're going to take a rag, and I'm going to wipe this out real good all the way around. Make sure we get this out real good. And then we're going to wipe down in here. Now I'm going to get a little bit of oil to put on these rings when I put them back in, and we'll put a little oil on this one, and then we'll have this piece done. Now this is the rings that we're going to replace and we're going to put back in there. These are the three new rings we want to put in there. We have the two outside edge ones and the center one. So we're going to go ahead and now move these over to the side, out of the way. And I got just a little bit of oil. I'm going to put just a little bit of oil on these. Just a little bit, just a little coating is good. And then we're going to just slide these back down on here. They should go on a lot easier than they came off. And I'm going to, there's two, where these come together, you see they come together there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a seam on this side, and then I'm going to turn it over, and where these go together again, I'm going to put the seam straight across from that one there. So they're not lined up with each other. Okay, so we got them on there, and they're just the way we want them. Okay, now that we got all these seals on and that one on, we're just going to set this off to the side, and we're going to work on this piece right here. This piece here has a rubber O-ring down in here and a flat one, and I do believe it's going to be this one and this piece here. So we're going to go ahead and take these guys out of here, and we'll clean up our, and you know, try to notice the way that they're coming out, because you want your rings to go back in the same way they came out. So this one would be this one, and I'll put it over to this side, over to the right, and then this one went towards me. You can see it's pretty well shot, and that's probably where a lot of our fluid was coming from, and I'll put it over to the right, and that's the same one there. And you can lay them on top to match them up, or however you want. So we can go ahead and wipe this seal out. We'll wipe this out really good. And if it's got a lot of garbage in there, like if it's gunked up really bad, I think you could take a brass wire brush and wire brush down in there and get that out of there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to leave these set up right here. And those are going to be our outside ones. This one goes on the inside towards me, and the rubber goes on the outside there. So now we have a couple seals out here. We have a seal here and a seal on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and take the seal on the outside right here out. I'm going to try to do this with a screwdriver here. I think they want you to, you know, don't be really using sharp tools doing this, but sometimes you can't help it. And these can be a little contrary to get out, but just take your time, you'll get it. Now recognize how that seal came out of there. It's tapered up on the top, and that's that size. So I'm going to have to come over here to my pile of seals, and I'm going to find a seal that matches that seal really good. And I would say it'd be that seal there, because see, I'm using a universal seal kit. So I'm going to have extra seals in here that do not go to this cylinder. Not all these seals go to this cylinder. So this seal is going to go right there on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and set that seal in the center of this little pile of them I have here. And then I'm going to set the old one off to the right. Now if you look down inside of here, you're going to have one more seal down in here, and that's the hard one to get in or out. Well, it was hard for me, maybe not everybody, and I am going to use a little pick down in here to get this guy to start moving. Hopefully I don't poke myself. And once I get it out a little bit, I'll take my screwdriver and go down in behind it and finish taking it out of there. So this is the hard one. And when I did my last when I did the last rebuild, I had a hard time getting this in, and they do make a tool for it, and I'm going to show you guys the tool. Now we'll notice the way this one came out. It came out with the flat end up, and right here you have an indentation in this one here, so we know that the flat end is going to go up this way. So I'm going to come over to my seals again. I'm going to look for one that I can match up, that will match up exactly the same as that seal. Like I said, we're in a universal kit here, so this is for different cylinders. So I think we have our good one right here. This is going to be the one. So we'll put him down here and put the old one off to the right. Now I'm going to take and clean out all the garbage in here. And there's going to be a lot of, on this outside one, this is the dust. I do believe this is like a dust guard, whatever, keeps dirt and dust from going out. So you get a lot of debris down inside this one here. And I'm just scraping it out real easy there. And then we're going to wipe it out. I may even take a little bit of air and blow the inside of this out good. Depends on what it looks like when I'm done. And you know, and I'll tell everybody here, I'm not a professional. I'm just Kevin, and I'm sitting here trying to help you guys save a little bit of money. You know, maybe in the long run you'll lose money. I don't know, because if you don't do it right and it doesn't work for you, you're going to lose. But I haven't had one that I lost on yet. So, and I've done quite a few cylinders. And it seems like every one I've done, I must have got really lucky, because they've worked out pretty well for me. Clean them and rebuild them. Now, if I get something that's really bad, we'll take it to a machine shop or something like that and let them take care of it, or we'll just order a new cylinder. Because sometimes you can get a little bit of money wrapped up in these cylinders, taking them into a shop. So I'm going to finish cleaning out the inside of this, getting it ready, and then we'll go ahead and get this put back together. Okay, now that we got this cleaned out pretty good, I let this seal that we're going to put in the bottom there soak in some hot water to warm that rubber up to make it just a little bit more pliable. And I learned this actually from my viewers on my last video. They told me put it in some hot water, and it sure does make sense, and it does make a difference, because I actually rebuilt one of these today earlier, and it worked out pretty good. So we just soaked that in some hot water, warmed up that rubber a little bit, and this is where that tool come in pretty handy. I really like that tool that we used right here. And like I said, I'll leave a link in the description down below where you can pick these guys up. And you get a set of 3 of them. And they worked pretty good. So what you're going to do, a little bit tight on here, but you have to get the size for your seal there, and slide it up on here, and then you're going to kind of twist it down around, keep them up on here like so, and then I'm going to put it right down in your hole here. Make sure you have it in the right direction. And then you're going to release it in there where you want to drop it off. And now you have to take your fingers and kind of wiggle that thing around and get it to seat down in that circle, which was a whole lot easier than the last rebuild I did. A ton easier with this tool. And I will leave a link down there for you guys if you're wanting one of these pieces, one of these tools. So we got that piece in, and this piece here is going to be pretty easy to get in. I'll put a little oil on it, and then we'll put it down in here. Simple little fix here. You could do that with your bare fingers. Now, you don't have to have this tool to rebuild this cylinder. You don't have to have that. So I've done the other one by myself with no tool, and it's still working out. I've done a few of them without tool. So now we're going to take our other rings here, and I'm just going to put just a little coating of oil on them, and put these guys on. There's 2 of these. We got this little one went on first down here, and we do a little bit of oil on this one, and this one went on second. Push that seal down. And basically, that's all there is to rebuilding this cylinder, as long as it's not scarred up. You don't want it to be all scarred up. And so this, we're going to be using this end of the, we're going to put this piece on this end because it's tapered here, and the other end has the threads on it. So to make it easier and simpler, just to put it on from this end here. So I'm going to take a little bit of oil, just put a little bit of oil on our piece here, Okay, I just put a piece of wood down on the table there, and we're going to go ahead and slide this guy right up inside of here, and we're just going to bump it on the table. And I only do that because we don't want to ruin the threads up here. We want to make sure the threads stay happy, and that's how we did it. Just bumped it on there and got it down on there. Alright, now that we got this piece on the shaft, what we're going to do is, let's slide that down a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and put this piece here on. And if you notice on this side, it has a little groove where that rubber washer goes. So we're just going to slide that thing down on there where it goes. Then we're going to take the nut and screw it on as many turns as we can until it stops. We can't turn it no more. And then I'm going to use an old welding glove. I'm going to try to hold this thing as tight as I can, and we're going to get this guy snugged up. I think that's plenty tight enough. That has a lock nut on it too. So this cylinder is basically rebuilt. It's pretty much done. I'm going to take a little bit of oil, just rub some oil on this. And then we're going to take a little bit of oil and rub on this one up here, and we're going to go ahead and stick it back in our cylinder, which we had wiped out really good, and it's ready to go. So we'll get it put in. Alright, now we've cleaned out the inside of this and wiped it out really good, so we're ready to go ahead and slide our cylinder back together and tighten it down. And this cylinder should last a long time. I mean, I haven't had any problem with any cylinder that I've done so far. They all seem to be working really well. No leaks or nothing. That's basically how I rebuild a hydraulic cylinder. And I got proof that they work. And I can prove it to you. I'll take another video of this cylinder a year from now after it's been worked. And this cylinder should be just fine, unless it gets bent or something happens to it. Then we'll say, you know, something else happened to it. So basically just go back through the same steps and put it back on and go dig some dirt. Whatever your machine does, go dig it up. Now I normally watch the threads down on the bottom where I took this off from, and that's about where I want to stop it. So I'll stop it right where the painted threads were, and I'll tighten up this nut right here, and it's done. Okay, that's how I rebuilt a hydraulic cylinder. I'm not saying that it's the right way to do it. I'm not saying this is the way I want you to do it. I'm just saying that's how I do it. And the tools definitely made life a lot easier. This tool here made life a lot easier having that one single tool. And this tool here, you could buy this same tool too, and I'm sure in the comments down below somebody's going to tell you, but I'm going to try to look it up and put it on the screen for you so you know what the tools are called, so you can go and order them. As far as getting your kit, the only thing I can tell you is to get a hold of the company that manufactures the machine that you're running, or if it's a John Deere, get a hold of John Deere, or if it's a Cat, get a hold of Cat. If it's a Lee Boy like this, get a hold of Lee Boy. Tell them what you're working on and tell them you need a rebuild kit, and hopefully you'll be able to get the kit. I know a lot of you old farmers out there have old tractors that probably just can't get it anymore, and I don't know how to tell you to get it. I do remember a comment on my last video, and I'll post it up the top here somewhere, on when I did a cylinder. Somebody was telling me places to where you can go and get seals for these. I don't know where they just match them up or what. I'm not sure how that works, but always look in the comments down below. I always say in the comments you find out how much stuff people do wrong, or you definitely can find out how many people don't like you. So you can find out what you did wrong, and you can find out a lot of information on how to get stuff and an easier way of doing it. So when I watch a video, I always look at the comments to see what they're saying about what's happening, what's happening in the video. So personally, I don't know exactly how to tell you, because basically what I do is, if I say I need this kit, they get it for me. So I don't really do that part of it. My part is rebuilding the stuff and doing that type of stuff. And I don't do these for a living, and no means am I an expert at this. No way. I am not an expert. I'm just an ordinary old guy just like you. So that is rebuilding the hydraulic cylinder and a few tools that makes it easier to do. So I would like to tell everybody thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment if you'd like. Click the little bell down there on your right so you get them alerts when I post another video. Till next time.